Well, I'm back again to talk about a large topic, and it is one of my favorites to talk about, and it is the feminization of boys and this bullshit transgender agenda that they have about making boys into girls and girls into boys. Such baloney. And it's just all a matter of seeing it in a different perspective and why it's happening now. And one of the main reasons it's happening now is because of the threat of the rising of the alpha male, who is definitely on the rise. People don't like that. So they have turned it around in such a way that every male is now scared of his own shadow, because they want men to cower down and to back down and to be put in their place by society so that they do not rise up. Because should the alpha male rise up, everybody else will be threatened. So will governments and institutions, churches, marriages will go down the tube completely. And then how are you going to hold on to your man? And this is the big thing. Right now, marriage creates a bond for the man so that he is tied up. Even if he wants to leave, he can't. Some men like to stay, that's fine. But it's those who want to leave can't. They get trapped. And then the next thing you know, he's murdering someone. He's got porn addictions. He is playing video games all the time. He's angry or something like that, something dysfunctional. He's a sex addict. Something goes on wrong. And all of this is due to the fact of the sneaky ways that the people are trying to feminize boys now and trying to get them to deny themselves. Now, it's the same thing with all these transgender and all this kind of stuff. Now, why is this manifesting now on the planet is the question. And the answer is very simple. Well, not that simple. The answer is that it is manifesting on the 3D level, because on higher dimensional levels, there is a balance happening between the masculine and the feminine. It's the planet as well is coming into balance. So because of that, it is manifesting on the lower levels physically as this transgender, gay, whatever it is, switching genders and all this kind of shit, of gender pronouns and all that stuff. So that's the reason why things that are happening above are manifesting below and finding expression, even though it's either stupid or whatever it is, just complete nonsense. But that's how it's manifesting. And the people who are, living through it at 3D really believe it. I believe that they are having all these confusing feelings and things like that, probably because it is manifesting on the 3D level in that way. Now, what's happening in the higher dimensional levels is that people who are already linked in and understand what's happening are becoming more balanced. For example, my mother is one of my twin souls. She is dragon born, and she's got an excess amount of yang, which she had as a younger woman. I am yin, as a tiger born, and so I had extreme amounts of yin when I was young. As we both grew up, she became more yin and I became more yang. And in that way, we balanced each other out. And this is what's happening. And I just gave one example of one twin that I have. I have many. But this is what's happening on the higher. So I'm aware of it. She is not aware of it because she just simply cannot understand or fathom the energy levels. She just can't. And that's fine. I respect that. But this is happening, and that was just one example of things happening at that level. And then on the bottom part, it's manifesting as all of this transgender nonsense. As well as saying that, it's also the fact that boys are not being initiated into rituals. If they're not being initiated into rituals by other men who are wise leaders, then boys become confused, lost, and don't know what to do, how to become men. And so this is creating havoc because they're being sold lines and being sold the idea that they are like women, and they are nowhere near like women. Men are very different from women, but the men are being sold that. By the time they get to 40 and 50, they're defending their chains. You can't do anything about it. It's too late. So what do? Nothing. You just only go with men who resonate with you or who understand you. Otherwise, no point in talking about it, no point in discussing it. It's too late because they do not understand. They've already been to the point of, by the time they're 40, it's too late. The beliefs are starting to get fixated and you can't do anything about it, or they get offended or some bullshit like that. Really, I don't care. I'm just more looking at ones that do resonate, that are interested in igniting their alpha male side. You can tell from just having simple conversations. I have conversations on Facebook all the time. I can tell straight away that who's who and what's what and who's dealing with what issues. Nevertheless, I respect everybody, as we all should, and I just move along my merry way. I can feel it right away. So if a man has never been initiated, which is practically everybody now, and they reach 50, absolutely over now. It's too late. So there is no ability to change unless the universe comes along and throws a rock at your head, and then by some miracle you change. Otherwise, especially men, because they're so fixated, and reality does fixate them a lot into, they think what you see is what is, and so they're really fixated. Unlike women who have the advantage of still being a little bit magical, and we still believe in like romances and fairy tales and things like that. That's one of our like really strong suits in believing in magic, where men have a bit of a harder time with that kind of thing. They're more realist, and it's really hard to get them to change. So believing in like, in sort of reality the way it is never really helps, because it fixates it, and nothing ever changes. So this is one of the reasons why this transgender mess is happening now. It's to balance, and it's reflecting rather what is going on at higher levels, higher dimensions, where things are shifting constantly to bring the planet and the individuals to balance, the masculine and the feminine. Women are becoming more masculinized. For example, the masculine feminine, so becoming more yangish to balance the yin, and some men are becoming more yin to balance the yang. But they don't have to be men and women, as I've given the example of my mother and me, who are both women. So it's just really an inner thing that happens, not necessarily an outer thing. I generally walk down the street. I can tell straight away if the man has alpha male energy or he doesn't. Most men do not, and generally men who do have alpha male, I immediately click with them, because I can tell straight away that it's kind of like family. So I do promote and love the alpha male, and I think that with the coming of the alpha male, if they ever do get themselves together, will be able to change the structures of the planet completely, and it has to do with them first, and that yang energy that's rising up everywhere. So you can see that with my mother and me, even though she was yang and I was yin, I am now more yang, and I'm the one who's gone forward, where she's become more yin and she's kind of taken the back seat. And that's only because it's the yang energy that's moving more powerfully to balance things now on the planet, as the planet becomes more aware of its masculine side rather than its feminine side. The feminine energy is a whole other story, because it has other sides to it that are also rising. You can't just celebrate the goddess as she is, because there's different sides to her. And people are always going on about how they love the goddess without really understanding exactly how many facets there are of her, and exactly what is manifesting in women now on the planet. And that is a whole other story. And it's one of my favorite topics, because I've been dealing with it since I was a child, not understanding at the time what I was dealing with. Now I have my hands fully in the pot, and I understand completely how that is manifesting as well on the planet. But I'll get to that on another video.